Hey there, and welcome to another episode of the Designated Pundits. Today, we are previewing the 2025 Major League Soccer season for Austin FC. Make sure you subscribe. Go hit that bell icon, get notified. All 30 Major League Soccer teams this preseason. That's what we're doing. This is, I think, number 8, and we got Alex Sanabria here from We Are Austin TV. Let's get into the show. This is one of the previews I really wanted to get into the most. There's a whole lot to talk about here for Austin FC. Alex, how you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm happy. Thank you for inviting me to the show. I mean, I'm really excited to talk about Austin today. Like you said, a lot has been happening for Austin FC, for Austin TV as well, trying to cover it all. No, I'm really excited to talk about it today.
So We Are Austin TV. Let us know where we can find your work.
Yeah, so you can find us essentially everywhere on all social media and YouTube, including our podcast, Top Flight Podcast. We just at We're Austin TV, just like that, and that's where we post all of our content. TikTok, if you still have TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, just everything.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us today. I want to start today's episode the way we're starting all 30 episodes. Tell us your favorite soccer memory from 2024.
Oof, from 2024. Just soccer in general, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I would say I got the privilege to cover the Copa America this summer, and
Awesome.
I was here in Austin, Texas, at Q2 Stadium when Venezuela played Jamaica, and that game was just amazing to witness. Obviously, I am Venezuelan, so a little bit of extra emotion there, right?
Sure.
But it was the loudest that Q2 Stadium has ever been. It was just a party, a win 3-0 against Jamaica. It was just incredible to be there.
Awesome. So we got a lot of guys popping in the chat, excited for the collab, excited to work with us. We are live. We're doing all 30 previews live. And when the season starts, Monday, Thursday, I think we're doing 9:30, Thursday, 8:30. So make sure you subscribe. Go to designated.pundits.com, youtube.com/ at the Designated Pundits, or search the Designated Pundits, or We Are Austin TV on your favorite podcast platform. Wherever you are, you're going to be able to find our work there. I'm excited too, Alex. This is the first time we're meeting together. Usually I connect with Hernan from We Are Austin TV. He gave you a glowing review. He said, "Don't worry, he can speak English." So that's the introduction I got. But let's get into some soccer here, because I know you are going to be really, really helpful here with some of the X's and the O's here. So Austin FC had a pretty poor 2024, 11-9 and 14 record. They were 7-5-5 at home, but 4-4-9 away. 18th in Major League Soccer out of 29 teams. Of course, there'll be 30 this season. And here's where it was. The 39 goals scored, that is not enough. This is a dead offense. 48 goals against is actually poor, but it's not that bad. Something you could certainly recover from. -9 goal differential, and you missed the MLS playoffs by only 5 points. I guess that's what happened once you let 70% of the teams into the run. So tell us about 2024, just in general thoughts about the season.
Yeah, so 2024, honestly, was just a depressing season all around. I can't say there were, it was like a roller coaster with, very, very good moments and very, very bad moments. No, it was just all around bad, in my opinion. It was a season where it was Josh Wolf's 4th season coaching the team. First time he's ever coached a team in his career, actually. And it's his 4th year and only being successful in 1 out of the 4. And you could tell there was a negative energy all around the team. The players were not performing. Sebastian Drusi, who was an MVP candidate in 2022, had been going, downhill from there. The team was not creative. You just said yourself, 39 goals is not acceptable by any means, any standards. On the defensive side, we allowed 48 goals, but I think that if you actually look at it, you look at all the teams in the league, it's actually kind of average or kind of acceptable. It wasn't a bad defense. It was that we were just not scoring enough goals. We were not creative. We were just cross after cross, and with Giassi Sardes being the main man up top to trying to score those goals, which is not ideal, right? Um,
It was
so
suboptimal is what we call that on the show.
yeah,
Suboptimal.
yeah, it's very very suboptimal. So yeah, it was a very hard season. That I mean, at the end of the day, it ended up with Josh Wolf losing his job right the exact the moment where we didn't make the playoffs officially. So that tells you a lot about how this season went.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about who some of those contributors were. Not the guys you might have expected. Jadir Obrian, 7 goals, 2 assists from the left wing out there. Sebastian Driussi, the Dior, the guy who was spend more time picking his clothes out than practicing soccer for the last 3 years. Apparently, 7 goals, 3 assists, completely checked out. Diego Rubio, 4 goals and 1 assist. You had John Gallagher, 3 goals, 2 assists. Zardes, 3 goals, 2 assists. Alexander Ring, 2 goals and 4 assists. And Daniel Pereira with 1 goal, 4 assists. No one lighting it up. I think this is one of only 2 teams in Major League Soccer who doesn't have a 8 goal scorer or more. That's a
Yeah.
very low total. And for me, when you see those issues on teams, you usually think it's an availability issue. This wasn't an availability issue. This was just players playing 90 and not playing their best, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I said, it was just a matter of the team not knowing what to do. We tried so many. Uh, there were so many moments where we tried to be what we were in 2022, even with Alex Ring coming back as a captain, which he hadn't been in 2023 and part of 2024. With him in the midfield, with Danny Pereira in the midfield, Seba Drisi, but that wasn't working. Hader, who we picked up in the re-entry draft, actually came out to be a good asset offensively. But even then, like you said, it's not that it wasn't that impactful or impactful enough for us in the season. And when you have Jesse Sardes as your main striker, and then Diego Rubio, who are 2 veteran MLSers, but they're at the end of their endings moment of their careers, right? So it's when you don't have tools to create chances, and where those tools are mostly crosses, and then you don't have anyone to put in those crosses, it becomes really really hard for you to score. So the team itself, I think the players have a lot of fault, but eventually or essentially, I just say that it was mostly tactics that put us in that position.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of the changes because this is the team. I think you had 3 record transfers in a row this offseason, bringing in some guys. First, outgoing Ethan Finlay. I believe that might have actually been a retirement. Giassi Zardes, he is headed to LA. Is it LAFC?
No, Jesse, there was some rumors about him going to Cartagena in Spain. I
Oh, that's
think,
right.
yeah, but it never became official, so I don't know what Jesse is doing. He
Okay,
was
okay,
spotted
okay.
here in Austin still. So,
I'm thinking of Abobasi in LAFC. I'm sorry.
uh,
Let's move on. Alex Ring, Driussi, they're both out. Driussi had wanted out for some time. Can you
yeah.
just talk a little bit about his attitude, what he brought to the team? I generally am one of the work your contract guys. Like you signed a long-term deal, show up and work your long-term deal. It doesn't seem like it was a lack of skill because there were times 2 years ago where he was the best player on the field, one of the best players in Major League Soccer, and it came out real fast. Was it complete mentality? Was there tactical issue? Was it just that he was just surrounded by no one?
Yeah, so it's a mixture of everything, I would say, because he had the quality. The quality was there. You cannot say you can say whatever you want about Jersey, but not that he doesn't have quality. He has that magical touch, but at a certain point, it did become a matter of attitude. Um, in 2022, after he had that stellar season, he became the captain, but he was never really a captain on the field. You couldn't see a captain attitude. You couldn't see him trying to lift the team up or trying to pushing them forward. It wasn't really something that you would notice on the field. And then off the field, you would never see him speaking to the media, or very few times it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And when I say very few times, I mean like twice. It wouldn't be that great. So just all around, I wouldn't say he was just depressed and didn't want to play on purpose, but also the team was not performing up to the standards or wasn't creating the same chances that where he shined in 2022. So it was for sure him not being able to keep up with his previous level, but just a team all around declined.
Well, let's talk about some of the guys that you brought in. You brought in Ilie Sanchez, who is a very, very old midfielder. I don't know what he's got left in his legs, but he has been a consummate pro. He's an MLSers, MLS guy. I think he'll be 37 at some point this season. You brought in Nicolas Dubersarski, transfer from Instituto. He's a midfielder. Basard Sabovic, he was on a free transfer. And recently, you broke the record again with Mirto Uzuni from Granada. He is going to be like a winger. He's a very, very high attacking player. And, at least three of these guys are really thought to be, excellent top tier players. Of course, you add that to Osman Bukhari, who is not on this graphic, but was brought in very late at the end of last season as a designated player. And somehow, Brandon Vasquez there at the top. So now you got two DP wingers, Uzuni, Bukhari. You got Brandon Vasquez up top. The roster's looking a lot better from a goal scoring standpoint.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Not even just goal scoring, just in midfield in general as well. Because Alex Ring left, and he was a great captain. He was a great leader, but you could tell that he wanted to do things that his body wouldn't allow him to do anymore.
Sure.
So he would drive late to balls or just not have the finesse that he used to have before. So when he's out, and then we were essentially left with just Danny Pereira and Owen Wolf, two young players, two young midfielders, and that was it. So then comes Ilie Sanchez. And Ilie, yeah, you said he's very old, but he is that type of player, like Busquets type of thing, that can make a great pass without moving, half an inch on the field, right? So I'm not worried about him moving a lot. I'm worried about how long he can play on the field. But he instantly becomes a better player on the field and in the locker room. I think that's something also really important for us that we were lacking last season. Then you get a young defensive midfielder, another one defensive midfielder in Nico Dubersarski, Argentinian. He was a highlight in the Argentinian league this past season, where with just 20 years old, he went on to become a starter, and he was called the little engine of Instituto. So he's a very promising young player. And then Besart Savovic, who's also a European 26-year-old that we're not expecting to sign someone as young, but that seems to be that perfect midfielder to connect the defensive midfielder and the offensive midfielder, just somewhere in between that area, transitioning maybe, that can help us. And then, of course, you get to the front three that is just ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's going to be, game changing right there. Head coach Nico Estevez comes in. We assume he's going to kind of run a 4-3-3. It looks like that's what this team is kind of built around at this point. I have a depth chart made up. It's not from anyone in the know. It's just something I kind of threw together in my own time. I had some help with the internet putting this together. So let's take a look at that, and we'll go, position by position here. Now, there are a lot of changes that we're going to talk about right off the bat. But here's kind of how I see things. Let's play for the back line up.
Yeah,
Brad
sure.
Struver, and you got Stefan Cleveland behind him, who, maybe isn't starting everyday quality anymore, but has a lot of experience in this league. And that's where we got to start. And I think that Struver, you got a great goaltender there.
Yeah, no, Struver has been amazing for us. I said that we weren't bad defensively or too bad defensively last season, but without a Struver, it would have been another story. So a lot is thanks to him. He's definitely the starter. Stefan, he played in Leagues Cup and he saved a PK, but he hasn't really been given the opportunity to show if he can be a serious competitor for the spot against Stuber.
Absolutely. Moving up to the center back, and this is kind of one of the places where I deviated from conventional wisdom. You got a couple of good, solid options, nothing earth-shattering. We got Julio Cascante, Leo Vasainen, Brendan Heinzike, and Alexander Svatok. A lot of people were telling me that they think Brandon's Heinzike should be ahead on the depth chart here. I have him kind of behind Svatok to start the season. Talk about the center back depth and who your best pair is.
Yeah, so I understand why people complain because the thing with Julio is that Julio is one an OG of the roster since Austin was born. He has been here all this time, and he is one of the leaders in the locker room. And Josh Wolf particularly like him because he has some offensive capabilities. He's the type of CB that can in a corner score a goal easily. So there's that. He has mistakes in him, and that's why some people don't like him. Um, and then when you look at Svatok, who is from Ukraine, he plays for the Ukrainian national team and was playing the Euros last summer as well. He has some quality, but again, he's kind of new to the team, so we still have to see the best of him yet. And then Hindsight, who did have really good moments last season, but every now and then had a bad game. But it was, good enough for MLS, good enough to have him there. So, to me, you can go with any pairing between Julio, Svatok, and Hindsight. There shouldn't be any difference, but maybe some people would be inclined to see just Svatok and Hindsight, knowing very well the type of silly mistakes that Julio can have every now and then.
Awesome. So let's move up and talk about your fullbacks. Again, you have good, solid players out left. You have Guillermo Biro and Zan Kolmanich. On the right, Mikel Dessler and John Gallagher. Not only do we need to know the quality of the players, but what their responsibilities are. I believe on Austin, they're kind of just fullbacks, not too many offensive responsibilities on this team.
Well, actually, right now it's a little bit of a mystery because of Nico, because we haven't seen what Nico wants to do with this team yet. What I can tell you is that Mikel Dessler came from Toulouse, France, last year, and he was the captain there. And he came here and he showed why he's the captain. He's relentless. He's very, very smart on the play. He doesn't necessarily need to be the fastest, but he's so smart that with just positional play, he can do marvelous things on the field. And Guilherme Biu actually has a couple of goals with Austin that has been bangers, just straight shots from outside of the box. So Guilherme has some attacking quality, and he has that Brazilian spark that can change some play, kind of spark something in the middle of play offensively for us. So Nico does have a past of using fullbacks as wingbacks, so we may be able to see Dessler or Biru attacking. It's something that they can do without a problem. It would all depend on how they also want to defend in defensive transition, because that's one big point that we have been told they're working on in the press conference already this preseason.
Great. Awesome. Let's move up to the midfield. You kind of go with a standard 10-8-6. That's kind of what we're planning on seeing this season. At the 8, I have Basard Sabovic, Owen Wolf behind him. At the number 6, I was told this is wrong. It should be Ilie Sanchez there. Again, I don't think Ilie has 30 games in his legs, so I kind of pushed him off the depth chart in favor of Danny Pereira. And, this might be the most controversial part. Most people see Pereira as the 10. I think that is a lacking position on this team. And I know Uzuni does have experience there. So I got a little creative, put Uzuni at the 10, just because I think O'Brien is better as a winger than Pereira is as a number 10. That might be controversial. I was kind of an outsider looking in. What about these midfield positions here?
Yeah, so this midfield is very interesting again because we don't know what Nico is planning, right? But I can tell you off the bat that defensive midfielders are going to be Ilya Sanchez, Nico Dobrzarsky, and more than likely Savovic. They Ilya Sanchez and Dobrzarsky are straight up sixes. They really don't offer much offensively. Ilya does have some distribution in him. He can give you a great pass. I think we have all seen how he was with LAFC. And Dobrzarsky shone because of his defensive abilities in Argentina. So those two are going to be the ones fighting for that defensive midfielder spot. Um, I already asked Nico Esteves about Danny Pereira for this incoming season in the open training that they had, and he said that he knows very well that Danny played as a 10 in college, then regressed to an 8, and then because of the team needs when he joined Austin FC, Wolf made him play it as a 6. He says and he knows that Danny likes to play more offensively. So my understanding or and reading of this is that Danny will be used more offensively, but not at the 10. I don't think I don't think Dan you can put Danny at the 10 after 4 years playing as a six. And I think that his
Sure.
best position will be as the eight.
All right, so that leaves a hole at the number 10. Are we a fifth record transfer this offseason? Who do you see being there?
So I don't think we're gonna play as a 10. After Juicy leaving. I don't think, well, for one, you don't strictly need to play with a 10, and I don't think we will play with a 10. I think that if you have a defensive midfielder as a 5 or 6 in the midfield, saying close to the back line, like Ilya Sanchez or Dobrsaski,
Sure.
then you have a second midfielder more like in the middle, being that transition man between the defensive midfielder and the offensive midfielder that can be Savage, and then you have an eight with more offensive duties that can go up,
Sure.
knowing that you have two defensive midfielders staying back, covering your back for defensive transition. That can be Danny. So you can have Ilya staying back, Sabovic in the middle, and Danny going a little bit further up.
I like it. That's like LAFC does that. They're a 4-3-3 and they have a 6 and 2/8, kind of that system. Okay. Now up top, we kind of know who our best three is here.
Yeah.
Osman Bukhari is a player that not a lot of people know about. It was a record signing for Austin at the time, but it was in the summer when Austin did not matter. Can we talk a little bit about Bukhari out there on the right wing first?
Yes, so he's from Ghana, and he gets called up for the Ghana national team. However, for since the last two coaches for Ghana, he hasn't been getting a lot of minutes. But he was playing, or he has played in the Champions League. He scored in the Champions League, and he's a very, very fast winger. He's very technical, has great control, has great crosses. However, because he got late to the season, like to Austin in the season, he hasn't been able to show what he can do really. But when you look at his past, what he did in previous clubs, and all of his skills, you can tell that Osman is a very good threat when it comes to speed, when it comes to cutting inside, and when it comes to crosses. I see him more of an assister than a goal scorer. However, Nico Seves did mention to us as well that they are training to kind of leave him on 1v1 situations where he can finish those actions.
I'm pulling up Bakari's stats here. He's 5'7", he's small, 26 years old. Youth career, he was on loan in Anderlecht for a little while, so he definitely has some quality there. Played Ghent, was loaned out to Nantes. 56 games with Red Star Belgrade, 19 goals. That kind of tells a different story. That's a goal every 3 games. That's cooking with some fire there. So I think that was one of the underrated signings. He happened to be signed to a team that wasn't competitive anymore at that point in the season, but definitely one of those guys who you want to circle if you're playing like a little MLS fantasy, maybe get a little discount, plug and play right there. On the left side, you have Mirta Uzuni and Jadir Obrian right now, unless there's a change with that sometime in the near future. And I mean, that's going to be the strength of your team right there, right?
Yeah, so with Uzuni it's kind of interesting because he naturally is a left wing, but he has been playing as a center forward in Spain for Granada the last 3 seasons, and he did very well as a center forward. And we're talking about double scoring digits for 3 seasons consistently in both the La Liga first division and the Liga 2 second division. So his best work yet has been as a center forward, but you can definitely put him on the left wing. Something that I was analyzing when talking to after I talked to Nico in the media availability was that we may play with a 4-3-3 that when we transition to attack is going to look like a 4-4-2 with Brandon Vasquez and Mirtu Suni up top. So I think that's a very good way to utilize both Uzuni and Brandon Vasquez. And just to put it out there, I know we have John Gallagher as the sub for the right back Dessler, but he's a guy that can play right wing, right back, left back without a problem. So he's good. He's also a very good option for the wings in this formation.
DS is dropping into the chat saying John Gallagher should be on the depth chart and both should be on the depth chart and both wings and both fullbacks. So
Yeah,
yeah, he
exactly.
definitely brings that to the table. Center forward, you got Brandon Vasquez. I mean, what else
Yeah.
can you say here? Excellent with FC Cincinnati. Went to Mexico. Now he's back in Major League Soccer. Surprise, a record signing for Alston. I mean, what can we actually expect from Brandon Vasquez this season?
I think a lot of things. I think Brendan Vasquez obviously is going to be a goal scorer. That's his main thing, and he's shown it with Cincinnati. He also had his chances with Monterrey. Um, but I really like Brandon Vasquez for this team because now that we have Zuni as well, that who is a consistent goal scorer, um, Brandon cannot only just score, but he can be the main man to draw the center backs out of position, to draw them to him, opening the spaces for the wingers, for Bukari and for Mirtu Zuni. So, and he's also very creative. He has been shown that he can create chances for his teammates, not only by opening spaces. So I think that from Brandon Vasquez, if Nico pull this off, we can really have a goal scorer and an assister up top without a problem for the team.
Love that. I mean, he's had a lot of success in Major League Soccer, and he's played for some pretty bad teams. I mean, before Cincinnati was the powerhouse they are now, they were quite bad. So I don't think that his arrival, that his play is going to be like something inevitable. I don't think that you can just sign him up right now as, a 20 goal scorer. I don't think that that is necessarily a given, but if I was an Austin fan, I'd be quite excited to see Brandon Vasquez here now.
Yeah, no, and I mean, and obviously he's a main guy. He has a lot of eyes on him because he's Mexican American. He's from the MLS. People know him. But when you have a guy like Brandon Vasquez, and then you have a guy like Usuni, again, double digits consistently through 3 seasons in Spain, and then you have a guy like Osman Bukari, who can also score out of nowhere. I think the goals are gonna come from anyone. I don't think all of the goals are gonna come from Brandon Vasquez and he's gonna have 20, 25. I don't think Mirtu Sun is gonna have 20, 25. I think they're gonna share their goals as they come, and you can have 3 players with 15 goals maybe, and that's already a very good number for a season.
I'm very excited to see what Brandon Vasquez brings to the table because if you look at his career, 2 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 4 goals, 18 goals, 8 goals, 6 goals, 3 goals. Now, of course, he wasn't getting the minutes in Monterrey that he was getting playing for FC Cincinnati, but it was really one season. His entire legacy is based on one 18 goal, 8 assist season. And I mean, that's a huge number. He obviously has quality that, goal scoring comes and goes, but quality is permanent, So
Yeah.
we know what he has to bring. And I want to bring a nerdy soccer guy. Our buddy Dion says, who are you most excited to see play this season out of the new signings? For me, it's actually going to be Uzuni because I know nothing about him. So I'm a completely blank slate. Vasquez can score 50 times this season. I'd be like, yeah, I've seen that before quite a bit in the men's national team. I've seen it. I have no idea what he has to bring. So me, I'm always most excited about like the shiny new thing, the guy I've never seen play before.
No, I agree. I mean, Uzuni would be my first choice too, again, especially because if you're scoring 11, 18, 14 goals in Spain and you come to MLS in a solid team, you should go off. Like there's no excuse for you to go to lower those numbers. However, just to say something different, I'm excited to see what Nico Dubersarski can bring again because he's 20-year-old who was a highlight already in Argentina and is coming here. And he's not, I don't feel like he's coming as a 20-year-old U22 slot that is let's wait a couple of years to see if he can be a starter. No, I think he's coming here right to fight for the spot right off the bat. And with an Ilya Sanchez that has been in this league for so long and has been the great midfielder that we know he is, I think Nico can learn a lot from him. So I think we can see a lot of fast development from Nico Dubersarski along with Ilya Sanchez on this team.
Let's get to some 2025 predictions. And these three go together. What is the realistic season outcome? What is the team's best possible outcome? And what is the team's worst possible outcome? I'll go first. I think that a playoff spot would be a realistic expectation. You don't spend that many millions of dollars and expect to, flounder around the bottom of the league. However, I think the best possibility right now is like a top 4 position in the Western Conference, just because of all the firepower that was brought into all the other teams. And I think that it's always refreshing. It's nice to see your team sign a lot of players, but that's because it was barren for the last 2 years. So I think you still have a few steps to go. And because we haven't seen it, because we don't know what Nico Estevez has to bring, because we don't know the chemistry these guys still have to build together, I think that even getting off to a slow start, let's say you have a killer season, winning season, but you get off to a slow 6 games. That's going to be, 9 points. That's going to keep you out of the first 3 or 4 spots. So I think 5 to 7 is a high realistic expectation for this team. And I think that that is the kind of the only outcome I see. I don't see them doing any worse. I don't really see them doing much better. I think that 5 to 6 range is really where I like Austin right now as things sit.
Yeah, I would agree that the realistic outcome would be making playoffs. I mean, and after being in the hole that we've been for the last couple of years, I think that's the only thing that you really should expect. Rodolfo Borrell himself said, the sporting director, he said that that is the minimum requirement. So if we don't make the playoffs, for one, that's the worst possible outcome, and for 2, it's just that there is no excuse after spending this much money building this team. And let's keep in mind that Rodolfo Borrell chose Nico Estevez as the coach, right? So he chose the coach, he chose the players. If this project does not work, and we're talking about just making playoffs in a league where it's easy to make playoffs, right? It's definitely a catastrophe, and it's something that should be criticized immediately. The best possible outcome for me would be a deep run in playoffs. I can completely see what you're saying about us not having that chemistry at the beginning, or Nico maybe trying to, get those pieces come together. Nico Durbarsarski he's in Austin, but he hasn't trained with Austin yet. Mirtu Zuni and Savovic are not in the States yet, and we don't know when they're gonna come. And those are 2 would be starters, right? So without those pieces, the season can start a little bit slow. So I wouldn't worry about finishing top 4. But once with these players, once we find the right formula, I could see us doing a deep player front if everything goes right.
And it's always great when you guys get off to a slow start, because then I get better prices on the sports book throughout the season. When they really stink it up the first few weeks. Let's go. There's still a few more questions here. Bangalov says best win it all. Okay, I guess you could do that. Juan Vargas wants to know the best breakfast tacos in Austin. Is that a thing?
It is
breakfast
a thing.
Tacos?
Yeah, it is a thing. I'm just gonna say I'm Venezuelan, so my things are arepas. I don't really go for breakfast tacos.
And Alex, are you and Hernan still coming to Coachella next weekend?
That is in the works. I can't confirm nor deny anything, but that's in the works. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alex, for being here. It was nice meeting you, and nice working with you today. Can you let us know one more time where we can find all your work?
Yeah, so We're Austin TV, again, just at We're Austin TV in every social media platform. Me personally, you can follow me at AlexWAATV. But all of my work will be always posted or related to We're Austin TV. So yeah, those are those are the places where you can find us.
Oh, you always bring the boom. I think this is the largest live show we've probably had so far this year. Thanks you for the guys at We're Austin TV for helping us out, promoting there. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell icon. That's going to help us. It's going to help me make videos like this. All 30 Major League Soccer teams. Peek in, catch your rivals, see what the other teams in the league are doing. I think you guys would be really impressed with the state of Major League Soccer this season. I know I am every time. Alex, thank you so much for being here, and thank you everyone for peeking in on the Designated Pundits.